To make your wreath, you will need your willow wreath base, your gardening wire, wire cutters, and then your gardening shears as well. So what we do to start with is we put together 10 bunches. So we get our base evergreen, whatever we're using, and we place together all of our pieces to make a nice spray, something like this. Play around with it to make it look nice and full. You don't want it too spindly towards the end. So that's quite a good amount. And then we want to add in our colour, or maybe eucalyptus or anything like that that we're also using. So if you are using eucalyptus, I often like to sandwich mine in between some of my layers rather than putting it on top like this. So you might want to disguise it a little bit like that. And then we want our colour on top, and our colour is usually quite a lot lower down, so our coloured flower or berry, whatever it is you're using. Quite nice to have a fair amount of it. This is usually quite a nice amount. And then if you get your gardening wire, you just want to hold it down with your thumb and wrap around 3 times. You're doing this quite tight to really try and keep those bits all together in your bunch. And then, oh, missed a little bit. I'll go about 4 times. And then you want to cut your wire and then twist these bits around each other. So like this. And then don't cut these, just tuck them back in. So fold them back and just make sure that they're not really sharp, just like that. Okay, so I have my 10 bunches. I've done 5 with eucalyptus and 5 without eucalyptus, and the idea is that I'm going to alternate one with eucalyptus, one without, one with, one without, when I put them on my ring. So this bit can feel a little bit like you don't have enough hands, but maybe get someone to help you if you need to. We're going to place one of our bunches onto our wreath, and we want it almost at a 90-degree angle to our wreath ring. Our stems are going to be in the middle of our wreath ring, so that's where we want them to sit, and they're kind of facing 90 degrees. Then we're going to use our wire to wrap around, and this time again we're going to do 3 wraps per piece. Now, really important, we don't cut that, we just leave that attached now. So this one I had eucalyptus, so I'm going to use one now without eucalyptus, and the idea is now I'm going to place this one on so that it covers this messy looking bit. So I'm going to place it on so that it covers that up. And again, we're aiming for that sort of 90-degree angle. If it needs to be slightly different to that in order to cover up that bit, then that's fine. So I'm happy with that. So that's sort of, it needs to be a little bit further. So that's sort of the gap that we should be aiming for, like this. And you can obviously afterwards rearrange things, and we can also use the glue gun if we need to attach other bits on. So now at the back, just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm moving my wire into the right position in order to tie my next one on. So 3 wraps around that one. Okay, and then we just repeat that until we fill the whole thing up. So I'll just show you one more. So now I'm going back to my eucalyptus one again. Look at the gap you have between your bunches just to try and get them evenly distributed, and then again wrapping around 3 times. Okay, I'm going to do the rest of them now. Okay, so now we're ready for the final bunch to go in. So for this one, we'll just want to tuck it slightly under that first one that we put in. And again, just making sure our wire really is nice and tight. That's how we're going to make sure everything stays in place. There we go, okay. So now we want to carefully flip it over and leave yourself a nice long tail of wire. And then we want to find that first bit that we used, and same as what you did with your branches, just squeeze those together and twist to get that nice and secure. And then this you can actually twist again to make a hook if you need it, so like that. I don't usually do that. I tend to just hang it directly from the ring. So if you want to do that, then you can just tuck these in. So now that we've twisted and we're happy it's secure, you can cut them a little bit shorter and then just try and kind of weave them back in just like that so that it's concealed. Okay, and now you'll just want to have a little play around and make sure that everything is in place and we can't see any of these. So this is where you'll maybe move bits around and make sure that everything is covered and that it's evenly spread and looking good. The other thing that we can do at this point if we want to, so maybe now we realise that we have gaps or pieces haven't been evenly attached, which is fine, it's an organic thing. We can now add some more bits in. So I don't know that I really need to, but I'm going to show you what that would look like. So let's say we wanted to, it's a bit spindly, we wanted to add a little bit more in to cover up some wire. So we can just tie that in. So if you just get your piece, and I want to just cover up that part here and just do the same. It gets a bit more fiddly now because obviously we've got to move the other bits out of our way, but we can just wrap again. Always stick with the 3 wrap kind of rule is a good idea, and then again cut on the back and just twist them together. Not left that long enough. Twist them together and again put your ends of your wire back into your willow so that they're not sticking out and sharp. Okay, and then finishing touches, we can do things like adding pine cones, or maybe we might want to do cinnamon, make kind of a little arrangement in there. Whatever you want to do, this bit you just do with hot glue. So I won't show you that, but just a tiny bit of hot glue and then hold things in position until it's completely cooled, and then you'll need to remove all those spindly kind of spiderweb like bits that you get from hot glue. Remove those, and the final bit is ribbon. So I really like to just tie a bit of ribbon around the bottom. So this is where just kind of have a look and turn it around to kind of see which bit you think should kind of be the top. So I think this bit, difficult to choose. I think maybe that bit there is my top. So if that's the top, then this is going to be the bottom here. In fact, let's do it. And I'm just going to tie this around. So you could choose whatever you like here in terms of whether you do a bow or a knot. That's the only problem with this chiffon ribbon, is it frays. So I just quite like to do a knot on mine. So that's quite loose, it doesn't really need to be tight, it's just decorative. And then I like to cut the ends on diagonal. Okay, and there we go, ready to hang.